Hello, today's video is all about the sewing challenge A Gift to November and my sewing plans for it. Hello there, my name's Claire and this is Stitchem, so thank you so much for joining me today for another video. Now today's video, as I've said, is all about the sewing challenge, a hashtag A Gift to November, which is being hosted by the lovely Alison from Sew Like Dotty and the wonderful Adam from Adam Sews. And the idea is to sew up gifts in the month of November, with the idea of perhaps being a little bit more prepared for Christmas. Although the presents don't have to be for Christmas, it could be for some other holiday season, Thanksgiving, or perhaps for a birthday or a thank you gift, etc. But the idea is just generally to perhaps get a little bit ahead of yourself for Christmas and not leave those makes for until the last minute. So you will have seen that there has been a whole vlogger tour of people involved in this challenge, and there has been a number of videos come out throughout the whole of November, and there are more to come throughout the rest of November, so do watch out for those as well. So in terms of rules, etc. for the challenge, they're very simple. Basically, you just have to produce a gift that has an element of sewing to it. So it could be all sewn, it could be partially sewn, it's really up to you. It can be an item of clothing, it can be a bag, it can be something for your dog. It really is open for your interpretation, but just has to involve some amount of sewing. And the only other real rule is that you just need to, if you have made several of the same item, so say you've made several makeup remover pads or several sets of coasters, you could only submit those as one entry to the challenge, which the challenge date to reveal your makes on Instagram is the 30th November. So as I say, that's the date to reveal your makes, but you can obviously enter more than one item. So say you have made some pajamas and you've made some hats and you've made something for your dog, those could be 3 separate entries. And then you just pop them onto Instagram on the 30th and tag in Alison and Adam so that they can make sure that they definitely see your makes. And there are a number of some amazing prizes that they have got people to contribute to the challenge, some amazing sponsors, so thank you to them as well, because they're so kind, all these small businesses that get behind all these challenges, so thank you to them. And I'll pop up a little screenshot up here of some of the prizes that are available. Adam and Alison have done really well. So on to what I have got planned for gifts for Christmas. So I really enjoy making presents for people for Christmas. Most of the people that I give for are quite crafty minded themselves in one way or the other, so they do appreciate the time and effort that goes into the makes that I give to them. So that's always really lovely, because it's not so great, is it, if you give something to somebody and they don't really have any idea of the time and effort that has gone into it. So I have got quite an extensive list of things that I want to make over the Christmas period. Some of those I'll share with you today, some of them not. The reason I've chosen not to share all of them with you is that several people watch my channel and I don't want to give the game away about what I am making for them, but I've definitely got some ideas to share with you today and I hope you enjoy watching them. If you do, please do give me a like, and don't forget to comment in the comments below if you've got anything to tell me about, if you're making any of these gifts, or this has given you any inspiration, or just what ideas that you've got for gift giving over the holiday season. So some of the things that I've got to show you today are things that I've already made in the month of November for the Gift to November, and some are things that are still left to be made. I don't think I'll get all of my Christmas makes done in the month of November, but they'll certainly have spurred me on to get going ahead of time. So thank you to Alison and Adam for doing that, because last year I was making gifts right up until the last minute, so this has been a really good idea, and I will show you the ideas that I have. As I say, some are made and some are just in the planning stage, so I hope you enjoy them. So my first gift idea is some Christmas crackers. Now in England we have a tradition of having Christmas crackers on the table, and it's something there's normally a novelty hat in there, a silly joke, and a small gift, etc. So I thought that these would make some really nice gifts. They can also be something that you can just sort of pop on your tree as well as an additional kind of decoration, if you like. Now I followed a tutorial from the lovely Lauren from Guthrie Garney, and I'm going to link all that in the description box below. These are not a cracker that have a snap in, but obviously you could put a snap in if you wanted to, but they're not one that kind of breaks apart. They're more kind of a decorative nature, if you like. So I've made 2 sets already, and I possibly may make some more for some other people as well. So on Lauren's tutorial, she shows about having the inside sort of tube as like a little box that has a lid, and I'll pop an image in. I think you can pick those up from Amazon, but I chose not to do that because I wanted to be a little bit more frugal. So if I undo one of the ribbons, you'll see what I've done. As a way of saving a little bit more money, being a little bit more frugal, I've used a toilet roll. To make it look a little bit more pretty, I covered it in some nice card, and I put a little bit of ribbon on either end because I just think that just makes it look a little bit less like a toilet roll and a little bit prettier. And the idea is that I'm going to put maybe a little miniature in there, a little gin or something, and maybe a couple of chocolates in there, and I just think that will make a really lovely gift. And then you can just pop it back in and put the ribbon back round, and I think that will look really pretty. And so there's one with it all done. So I've put some little velvet ribbon to tie it up, and I've also put some velvet trim round on this one. If I undo it completely, you'll see, bear with me, you will see that this is how it looks. So you've got a centre panel, 2 additional panels on the side, and a piece of ribbon. Obviously you can do that however you wanted to. You could just make them completely plain if you like. And on the back I've just got some tartan fabric. Equally, if you put a little bit of wadding in there, you could that could then become a placemat as well, I did think. But I decided that the wadding that I have got in my stash I need for something else, so I didn't want to have to buy some additional items, but I did think about that as a possible option. So that's something that you could do. And as I say, there is a tutorial for this on Lauren's YouTube channel, so do go ahead and check that out. And there's also a number of other cracker patterns that you can find on YouTube if you're looking for one that kind of comes apart, that has kind of a snap to it. The idea is that you would use sort of 2 sort of tubes, and you'd put some Velcro around, so therefore when you pull it apart you can have a snap thingy inside, and then again it's a reusable item for the next year, and the idea is being a little bit more sustainable, so that's always good. So as I say, I've made 2 sets. So one has got the red ribbon and then with the green trim, and the other set I've made have got a red ribbon as the trim and then green ribbon tying them up. So that's my first idea for the sewing challenge. The second idea is a very, very simple gift. It comes together super quickly. I've made one just to sort of show you. It is a little key fob. Now these sew up in a matter of minutes. They are absolutely fantastic as a little stocking filler, as a little additional item, and you can just buy this hardware on Amazon or eBay or any other kind of provider. You can buy them in sort of a multi sort of pack, and some of them come with a special tool to pinch this bit together. You don't need that, you just need a pair of pliers. So yeah, my advice is don't get sucked in thinking that you need a special tool to squeeze them together. It literally is a pair of pliers. I've used some fusible foam as the inside bit, and you can make this section as long or as short as you want that to be. And obviously they're just a great way of using up all those little scraps of fabric. And I just came up, in terms of making it, I just did it of my own design. However, there are a number of different tutorials on YouTube should you want to follow along with one, and I'll try and find one and link them in the description notes below. But yeah, these come together in a maximum of sort of 10 minutes really, and you could probably make several if you were batch sewing them in that time. They really do come together super quick. So a really great additional item, great to pop in with some chocolates or something as a teacher gift, or my son goes to Beavers, so I'm thinking of maybe some of those with a little extra, or my work colleagues, etc., or just a little extra stocking gift. So yeah, something really quick and easy, but I think makes a great additional item. So the next thing, I couldn't talk about sewing gifts without talking about cosmetics bags or pouches, etc. I really love giving these as gifts. I have made several in the past, and the pattern that I have used is the So Easy pattern, and I'll pop a picture in of that make. You can use that from a YouTube tutorial, and there is like a template that you can download. I've made those a number of different times over the years, and they're great. It's a great little pattern. The other pattern that is right at the top of my ones to make at the moment is from the lovely Adam from Adam Sews, our host of this challenge, or one of our hosts of this challenge, and I've made several of these now, so I can not just give this one a mention as well. So this is the trio of pouches, so the 3 different sizes that you can make. I've made several of these now, and one of them has already gone off to someone for their birthday, but I have got 3 pouches, the 3 different sizes to be able to kind of show you. So this is the large one, this is the medium one, and the small one I haven't got in this fabric, I'm afraid, because it's already gone off to its recipient, but this is the smaller size. So you can see you can make them for sort of all sorts of occasions. So in terms of their construction, they do come together reasonably quickly. Obviously there's a little bit more involved in it if you're going to do the quilting side of things. So I've quilted using some fusible fleece on the inside. You need a zip. Now in Adam's pattern it says that you should use like a continuous zip. I didn't have any of that, so what I did is I just used a zip that was longer than the desired amount that you need it to be, just so that you've got a little bit more wiggle room to play with. So this is just a regular zip, and you use sort of this some bias binding, which I've chose to make out the same as the lining. I've chosen a blue zip because I think that picks out some of the lovely flowers on there, and yeah, these come together really nicely. It's a really lovely design, and I just think that as a gift, you know, with anything in, whether it be somebody that you could use it as a pencil case, as a cosmetics purse, as bits to put your sewing bits in, yeah, you can't go wrong, can you, with a pouch? So that's my next idea. Now the next gift idea is some bunting. Now I've made bunting a few times in the past before, and I just think this will make a great gift for the person that I'm thinking of. I'm not going to show the fabrics that I'm thinking of because I don't want to give the game away in any way, shape or form, but I think bunting is you can use it obviously for lots of different occasions, and you could use it, make it in festive fabric, particularly to decorate your home or to give as a gift, etc. So this is sort of bunting that I've made in the past. This was one that I put up at birthdays because it's nice and bright and happy, and it's really easy to make. Now this, as you can see, it's quite a long ream of bunting, and this was basically made out of 3 fat quarters, which is quite hard to believe, but because I've done it in terms of it being a non-directional print, I mean essentially I guess it means that some of the rainbow sides are slightly, one goes sort of, the colours go one way and one goes the other, but I don't think anyone would notice that. But because it's a non-directional print, it meant that I could, when I cut out the triangles, I could use the bit of the triangle that had already been cut out and left, if you see what I mean. So that gave me loads of different triangles, and then I just made some continuous bias binding, and again you can do that using a fat quarter. So yeah, I mean I just think that's a really amazing way to get bias binding out of 3 fat quarters. So yeah, I will definitely be making some of that, possibly for a couple of people, but at least one person. So that's another idea that I have. So the next idea is to sew up a couple of tote bags. Now this is something that I've made a huge number of times over the years, and I don't think you can go wrong with giving somebody a tote bag. They're always useful. They're great to have in your car because, let's face it, nobody is using plastic bags anymore, or trying not to at least, and so they're always handy to have around. And it means that you can make them out of sort of fabric that you really like, or you feel has something to do with the person that you're making them for, so it can be sort of really personal. So this is one that I made years ago for myself. This was actually made out of 2 tea towels, believe it or not, and I split the tea towels so that I could have the 2 different types of pattern within the same bag, rather than using one side for one and one side for the other. And then I have got the handles I just managed to get out of the remnant bit of fabric that was left, and then inside I'd lined it with some yellow fabric that I had at that point. And I've got various different bits and bobs in here from previous mates. I've got some wool, etc. in there. So yeah, that's something that I've made in the past. So I've got some fabric here that I picked up a while ago from IKEA, thinking at some point I would make some tote bags out of it. It's a firm favourite. I've seen it huge amounts of times within the sewing community for people making various different things out of it. But this sort of curtain weight fabric makes great tote bags because it's quite sturdy, quite strong and quite durable. So I think that will make 2 really nice tote bags. The next idea that I have for you is more of what you would perhaps put a gift in, particularly if it is a small little gift or a difficult shaped gift that we all like to give as Christmas presents. So I've got a small little pouch here that's just got a little ribbon sort of drawstring through, which I think would be great if you were giving some jewellery, etc. and or any little gift that you have that would just a nice little drawstring bag, which would just sort of make it just look a little bit more special. And it means you could, or even with a little bag like that, you could just hang that on your Christmas tree, which I think would look really sweet. And then your classic bottle bag, because let's face it, at some point most of us will give a bottle to somebody for Christmas, and these are just a really simple, very simple design. And the idea is you just sort of tie that round the bottle, neck of the bottle, and I've got those in a few different colours that I've made here. So yeah, really simple design, super quick to make up. They've got like a fold down area, but they're not fully lined, so that makes them a little bit easier in terms of the amount of fabric that you need to use, because they're not fully lined. But yeah, just a simple idea, and one that I will link I will link the YouTube video that I used to make these in the description box below. Now, the final idea that I have got for making presents for Christmas that I'm going to talk to you about today is some Christmas pajamas. Let's face it, I know most of us have spoken about Christmas pajamas, but they're just a classic, aren't they? You can't go wrong with a Christmas pajama. So my thought is to make some Christmas pajamas for my family. They're not going to be matching, they're just different fabrics, and then, you know, I'll probably give them to them on Christmas Eve so they can wake up in them on Christmas morning. I'm not worried about the fact that they're Christmas pajamas, in the fact of they won't be able to wear them for the rest of the year, because I have no problem with my children and my family wearing Christmas pajamas the whole year round. With small children, if they only wore them at Christmas and over the Christmas period, they'd get very little wear out of them, and by the next year they would have grown out of them. So I'm more than happy that they'll just wear them throughout the year anyway, so that's no worries there. So I will be looking to sew up some for my younger son, some for my older son, and some for my husband. So these are the fabrics that I'm looking to sew up for them. So for my younger son, I have got this very cute pale blue, baby blue I guess you'd call it, fabric that has got reindeer all over. I think I've got about 1 meter of that, so that should be enough to sew him up some PJs. I'm probably going to use the Waves and Wild Hot Chocolate, but just with the crew neck option for the jumper part of the, you know, the top part of the pajamas. And for the bottoms, I'll either use the Lightning leggings, or I might use the True Bias Hudson's pattern that I sewed up for him and his older brother fairly recently as an actual, you know, tracksuit bottom. But he loves the fact that it's got pockets, so I know it's not strictly necessary for a pajama bottom, but he loves putting little bits, you know, little toys in his pockets. So I think that if I've got enough time, I might whip up the True Bias Hudson's, because they don't take extremely much longer than sewing up one without pockets. And I could obviously use that pattern without the pockets as well. So that's one option. Now the second piece of fabric I've got is this one here. It's covered with Christmas gonks, and I'm going to use this for my my older son. Again, I'm looking to use the Waves and Wild Hot Chocolate pattern for the top, with the crew neck rather than the hoodie option, and I think probably the True Bias Mini Hudson's for the bottoms. I think that will be really nice. Again, he really likes the pockets, so yeah, if I've got time, I think that I will do that. I need to find some coordinating ribbing. I think I've possibly got some green that might match that, or I'll just use some white. I did pick out this one, but I don't think that goes particularly. I thought this was more red, but it has got a brownie tone to it, so that's probably not going to work. But I think I've got some white in my stash, or I think black equally would work fine with this one. So the last fabric that I've got is this one here. It is sort of a denim blue background with Christmas trees and snowflakes and Christmas baubles, not sure what these are supposed to be, and moons. And this fabric is for my husband. I think I've got about 3 meters. which sounds like quite a lot, but for my husband is 6'1", 2, and so everything that I make for him uses quite a lot of fabric. So hopefully I shall squeeze out some pajamas for him. Now I'm thinking of the again the Waves and Wild hot coffee pattern, just with the crew neck, and then I think I'm going to get the True Bias Hudson men's pattern for him. He really liked the ones that I made for my sons, so I think I will invest in that pattern for him. I will probably need to add some length to them, because as I say, he's quite tall, but hopefully that should all come together quite nicely. So that's all my ideas for the sewing challenge, a hashtag a gift to November. I really hope that you'll all join in with the challenge and post your makes on the 30th of November using the hashtag a gift to November, and tag in Alison and Adam as well, just so that they can see your makes. If between now and the 30th of November you want to show any works in progress or sneaky peeks, please do use the hashtag a gift to November WIP, which would just allow the main hashtag to kind of be left open for full finished makes on the 30th of November. I'd love it if you would let me know if you're taking part in the challenge, or what you're planning to make for gifts for Christmas or for birthdays, or any other fantastic ideas that you have. Please do check out some of the other videos that have taken part. If you just type in that hashtag gift to November, you'll find all the ones that have come before me. Yesterday there was some more videos from the lovely Alison, who was So Like Dottie, and Adam at Adam Sews, and tomorrow there are 2 more videos from the wonderful, and I'm just going to check my notebook so that I can make sure that I get it right, the lovely Stitched Up and Notes from a Sewing Room. And today joined me on today's date was Sew Notes. So as you can see, there are at least a vlogger a day, if not 2 vloggers a day, so lots and lots of lovely sewing inspiration out there for you. If you have liked today's video, please do give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really love it if you consider doing so. But until next time, take care, happy sewing, bye bye.